Good morning. Today we will be going over the applications in Microsoft Office 365 in order to help teachers learn how to use the applications for distance learning and to make learning efficient and accessible for students. So the first thing we will do today is start off by elaborating on Class Notebook. So what you will do is click this application, Class Notebook, and it will take you to a window that has 4 options. Option 1 is to create a class notebook. You can add or remove students from your class notebook, add or remove teachers that you may be collaborating with, or manage your notebooks altogether. So the first thing we will do is create a class notebook. So let's start off by giving our class notebook a name. We'll name it 7th grade ELA for English, and we'll have it be first period. So now that we have our notebook named, it will break down the 3 sections that will be in the notebook. The first will be a collaboration space where students and teachers can work together and they can both edit the content. The second part of the notebook will be the content library where materials can be published to students for read only. So teachers can edit the material, they can comment, they can upload the documents, and students will be able to read those documents. Third will be the student notebooks, which is a private space for each student where the teacher can comment on the student's work and the students can edit his or her own content and no one else can view those notebooks. So this is optional. You can add another teacher. This will be beneficial if you have paras or inclusion professionals who are coming into the classroom and working with students. You might want to add them here. So for example, I would just click here and add in a teacher, and I would click next. And then you can add in student names. And if you would like to add more than one, just separate them by a semicolon, or you can just type it in. Okay, so we'll just do those 2 for our mock students. And then you will be able to design private spaces for students' notebooks. So Microsoft will already have 4 built in for you. Suggestions, you can either use them or X them out. So there will be handouts, class notes, homework, quizzes, and you can also add a session, class assignments, or anything else that you feel is necessary. For instance, if you're teaching science, you might want to add a lab section. But for this, we'll keep these 5 for ELA. Now you're able to preview those sections. This is what the teacher's notebook would look like. It will have the welcome, which explains a little bit more about class notebook, a collaboration space where students can work together, content library, and then the names of your students. The students' notebooks will look as follows. There will be the student name, and then each criteria that you added to their personal notebook that only the student and the teacher can view one-to-one. So other students will not be able to see the student's private notebook. So after you have checked and everything looks okay with the preview, you would press create. Then a message will prompt setting up a OneNote class notebook. And it may take a few minutes. Then you will have the option to open the notebook in the OneNote app. There's also interactive trainings that are available for teachers. If you would like more training, you would click the OneNote for Teachers, and there's actually interactive videos that will help using OneNote and Class Notebook as well. So now that you've created your class notebook, you will go ahead and open it in the OneNote application. So now this is your created notebook from the OneNote application. So if you see, you have the name of the class, 7th grade ELA, first period. You have a welcome from Microsoft that allows you to understand a bit more about Class Notebook, and there's also support links and interactive trainings as well. For the collaborative space, there's also more information here about how to use the collaborative space in your classroom and how to create projects that students can share, and even private sections in the collaborative space. Then you have your content library. There's more literature here about how to use the content library. And then you have your students in each of their private sections. Okay, so we'll collapse those, and let's start by adding to our content library. So the first thing you will do is add a section. So to add a section, oh, sorry, let's undo that. So to add a section in the content library, you would click the content library, add section, and let's say we want to do the first section of our ELA guidebooks, the first unit, which would be written in bone. So we'll title that section written in bone, and then we can go over here and add a page. So the first page we want to add in written in bone for the content library would be the lesson. So we'll name this lesson 1. And then we'll go over to insert a file, go to our recents, and we'll actually insert lesson 1. Let's see what's on our desktop. Lesson 1. Okay, so it's a PDF file from our Guidebooks Learn Zillion curriculum, and we're uploading it, and they will give us 3 options of how we would like to upload. You can upload the document to OneDrive and insert a link for students to click on. You can add it in as an attachment that students can click on, or you can simply insert it as a printout. I would suggest a printout for materials that students will just be reading. So you would insert the file as a printout, and if you see, lesson 1 of written in bone is now in our content library, and once again, that's materials that only teachers can edit and students can read. Okay. I don't know how that came about. Let's delete this. Okay. All right, so we have our content library. We have our first unit written in bone and our first lesson that students can read. So that brings us to the actual student work. So let's create some student work. So we would go to our student, just one, click on class assignments, and then it will give you an untitled page, so click on that. And you want to then title the page. So we'll say the first assignment students will do is a vocabulary chart. We usually start with that. So we'll do vocabulary chart 1. And then you can attach a file. So I go back to my files that I've already uploaded. And let's look for our vocabulary chart. And for this one, since students will be actually working on the document, we'll go upload to OneDrive and insert link. So this is what will pop up. The actual document that I've uploaded from our Guidebooks Learn Zillion curriculum. And there's a chart here. So if you notice, students would not actually be able to type on this unless they click the link. And once they click the link, it will take the student to the actual Word document that they can now click on and edit. So let's go back to our OneNote. So now let's recap. We have our content library. Our first unit would be written in bone, and we've uploaded the first lesson of the unit, which we got the PDF file from our guidebooks curriculum and uploaded that document there. We then went to a single student. We went to their class assignments and added in a vocabulary chart. So now that student will have their first assignment, but if you see here, the second student, if you go to their class assignments, they do not yet have any. So you would have to click on the vocabulary chart activity, and then go to class notebook, distribute page, and click distribute page. So when you click distribute page, a window here pops up and it says select the student section where you want to distribute vocabulary chart 1. We want that to go into all of our students' class assignments folders. So we click class assignments and then you press distribute. Pages will continue distributing while you work or close the app. So if you're looking for this page to be distributed quicker, you can close the app and then open it back up. It'll be distributed. If not, give it some time and it will distribute to each and every one of your students. So now we have a done message. We can close that out. And now our second student will have the vocabulary chart assignment. And once again, they would just click that hyperlink and go in and be able to edit the assignment there.